What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, I want to discuss a topic that I spoke about this topic. I think this past weekend, right, with some of my co-hosts on my live show, and the question was raised like whose town is it? Like with you have the Indiana Fever, who are they're creating a lot of buzz, and then you have the Indiana Pacers who are creating a lot of buzz, right? And so the question was posed: who actually runs this town? Like which team is the town most excited about? Now I know and I understand that Indiana, they're excited about the Fever and the Pacers. But like if they had to choose, like if the town had to choose, like which team would they say is the gets the most love in Indiana, right? And so one of my co-hosts directed me to a comment, and the comment was made by Pascal Siakam. And Pascal Siakam plays for the Indiana Pacers. And so what Pascal basically said in so many words is that Indiana, the town of Indiana, the city of Indiana is basically is Caitlin Clark owns that, right? Is there's so much buzz around Caitlin Clark that it's not even comparable. And I'm like, wow. So here you have the Indiana Pacers who are playing. They're in the middle of a championship series. They're tied with the OKC Thunder. As I'm making this video now, it's like 2 games to 2. And like from the outside looking in, you can just see all the excitement from the fans and everything like that. But somebody who's like Pascal Siakam, who is in the thick of things, who's on the ground in Indiana, will tell you hands down that is Caitlin Clark's town. And so then that just made me think, like, when have I ever seen, as a sports fan, where like the female athletes are more popular than the males, and it's really hard to find a situation that's like what you see in Indiana with the Fever and Caitlin Clark. I'm trying to think, like, maybe in individual sports you will see somebody like Venus Williams. She might be able to be just as popular, but for the most part, when you're talking about women's sports, you don't really get the kind of buzz around women's sports or a particular female athlete as what you're getting right now in Indiana. Not just in Indiana, I'm just focusing on the city of Indiana because they have two teams, two very popular teams right now. But like I was saying, you rarely see a city where, as though, like, the female athletes, like the basketball team, and a female athlete is just blowing, you know what I mean? She's just blowing everybody else out the water, right? And so that just goes to like her popularity and and what she brings to the table as an athlete and what she does, for her team. She recently just came back after having 5 days off. They played against the Fever played against the New York Liberty. New York Liberty, as you know, was like the only undefeated team left in the WNBA. And she just as soon as she came back, ratings went back up. So the ratings went down. They say the ratings, some people say ratings dropped like about 50%. And then so now, as soon as Caitlin Clark comes back, ratings shoot right back up. The ratings just go through the roof. And then on top of that, they blow the Liberty out of the water. And that's really what sparked the conversation. Like, wow, somebody, like one player could have this type of impact, not only on her team, but the whole city. You know, um, I remember the first time, like LeBron James, his first stint in Cleveland with the Cavaliers. They said that like once LeBron James left Cleveland, um, it was almost like the same effect. You know, businesses like downtown businesses that was used to making a certain amount of money, you know, off of the Cavaliers and stuff like that from people coming and you know, going to their establishments and stuff like bars and little restaurants and pubs and stuff like that. Some of those businesses had to shut down. And so, you know, that's and now you and really for men, you don't see that a lot, right? Every once in a while, you'll see somebody like a LeBron James or a let me see, like a Kobe or Magic or Bird, like those guys right there are big drawers. And then the town that they're in, you know, are able to capitalize off of their popularity. But like I said, you have a female who's having that same impact as like a player, like somebody like a LeBron James or what Michael Jordan would do for like the local economy, right? You got people like in restaurants and bars. Then you have people like street vendors, people selling jerseys and all different kinds of you know, merchandise that with fever on it and stuff like that. So I'm like, man, that's very impressive. Not just for a female athlete, but for any athlete to have that type of impact. That just goes to show you, you know, like what Caitlin Clark, like her impact overall, in not just in women's sports, but I think right now Caitlin Clark, her name is probably the biggest name. Like right off the top of my head, I can't think of another athlete who is more popular than Caitlin Clark, right? So it's only fitting that, you know, like businesses and that local economy would be affected by, you know, her presence there. And not, you know, not just the local economy though. Um I'm sure that like the rest of the NBA, the WNBA is affected by, you know, Caitlin Clark, but the town of Indiana, man, when you have players like Pascal Siakam just flat out saying, you know, it's Caitlin, hands down. Caitlin Clark owns this town. And you know, I mean, without even a doubt. And I'm sure that Pascal Siakam probably wouldn't be the only player on the Indiana Pacers that feel that way. And I think that a guy like Tyrese Halliburton probably feels the same way, right? He is really, you know, you can see that he's really caught up in with the Indiana with the Fever also, you know, with the Indiana Fever. You'll see him at the games and he'll support whenever he can, just like the rest of those guys on the team will support whenever they can. And the same thing goes for Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and the young ladies for the Indiana Fever. Like, you know, I've seen them already at one of the home games for you know, for the Pacers. So the support goes back and forth, right? But you know, Caitlin Clark right now, man, is just like a rock star. Like whenever, you know, whenever she walked into that arena or that, you know, where they played there against the OKC Thunder, I mean, people, it was just the crowd was just going wild, just like she was a rock star or something like that. So you rarely ever see a female athlete with that type of impact, and her impact even overshadows the the men's basketball team. And so that's very impressive. Um that's how you know that like it's there's no hype or anything behind Caitlin Clark when you know like you know because that's something that you as a you wouldn't be able to fake that. You definitely wouldn't be able to fake that because anytime she walk into the arena and then people, everybody start to pointing and cheering and stuff like that. And then, you know, like the guys on the basketball team, they turn around, they want to know what's going on, who just walked in. And then, you know, it's Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and I'm not sure who else was with her when she went to that OKC game, but that's very impressive, man. And that just goes to show that like we're witnessing something right now with Caitlin Clark that's you know that's in my opinion it's just very special. You know, it's almost like, or I would say it was like what Tiger Woods did for golf. The kind of attention and the following that Tiger Woods, when he first hit that golf scene, it was just crazy. Tiger Woods also, he was just like a rock star. And so we just witnessing that all over again, but this time it's with Caitlin Clark. So yeah, man, that's my take on it. I want to know, like, do you agree that Caitlin Clark, we know what her effect is on the WNBA overall, but what do y'all think about her impact on the city of Indiana? You know what I mean? Like, she just captured it, and she just took over the whole city of Indiana, and everybody know it, everybody acknowledges it. Anytime I ask somebody, like, who do you think is like the most popular team, or even the most popular person in Indiana, it's always the Fever, Caitlin Clark and the Fever. So, and like I said, that's very impressive. And that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.